There was a boy long before there was a book, long before a microphone, long before a declared mission, long before life what's the point was a title. There was a boy trying to understand why he felt like he was both too much and not enough at the same time. I want to begin there because if we start with philosophy, we miss the humanity. If we start with the declaration, we skip the doubt. If we start with a finished product, we erase the unfinished becoming. Before there was a man speaking to you on the stage, there was a boy searching. I was hyperproductive before I was coherent. Ideas everywhere, energy everywhere, output everywhere, completion rare. There was always something new to build, something new to fix, something new to prove. Not to the world exactly, but to myself. It was an old operating system. If I could produce enough, maybe I am enough. If I help enough, maybe I belong. If I move fast enough, maybe I won't feel the quiet ache underneath it all. And here's what's interesting. Michael knew me then. Not the polished voice, not the man who could speak calmly about identity collapse and financial runways and embodied coherence. He knew the searching version. He knew the restless builder. He knew the version of me that started more than he finished. He knew the one who was powerful but scattered. And he stayed. That matters more than we talk about. Because most people meet us mid-story. They meet the after version. They meet the refined version. They meet the version that already integrated the chaos. Very few people witness the incoherence. Very few people stand beside you while you are still asking the question you will one day write a book about. Life which the point did not begin as a manuscript. It began as a quiet ache. It began as exhaustion from trying to outrun the question. It began in moments when productivity no longer numbed the deeper inquiry. What is this all for? Why am I building? Why am I striving? What is the actual point? Michael saw me when those questions weren't poetic. They were heavy. They were seasons where my output was massive. Podcast arcs, programs, frameworks, financial systems, health resets, plans upon plans upon plans. From the outside, it looked impressive. From the inside, something was still unsettled. And the boy didn't yet know that he was trying to earn stillness instead of inhabit it. That realization didn't come dramatically. There was no cinematic breakdown. There was just a slow recognition. You cannot build your way into enoughness. You cannot produce your way into peace. You cannot outrun a question that is asking to become you. Michael watched that shift. He watched the hyper become steady. He watched the urgency soften into clarity. He watched the identity collapse without turning away. And I think that's something we rarely honor. The ones who stay while we are becoming. Not while we're succeeding, not while we're impressive, but while we are unraveling old selves. Before the book, there was a boy. Before the message, there was confusion. Before coherence, there was collapse. And that collapse was sacred. If you're listening right now and you feel unfinished, if you feel like you've started many things and completed few, if you feel like you've been powerful but scattered, let me say this gently. You are not behind. You are in formation. The boy was not a mistake. The hyper seasons were not wasted. The unfinished projects were not failures. They were rehearsals. They were data. They were the early drafts of a man who would one day stop running and finally sit with the question long enough to let it transform him. Life, what's the point, is not a book written from arrival. It's a book written from integration. And integration only comes when the boy is no longer shamed, when the old operating system is thanked instead of condemned, when you realize the frantic striving was not weakness, it was protection. And when that protection is no longer needed, calm emerges, steadiness emerges, authority emerges. Michael did not create that transformation, but he witnessed it. And there is something profoundly stabilizing about being witnessed without being managed, without being fixed, without being rushed, just seen. The stage is not a place where I pretend I was always coherent. The stage is where I tell the truth about the journey from fragmentation to formation. So before the book releases, before the title travels, before the marketing and the metrics, I want you to meet the boy. Because if you don't know him, you don't really know the man. And if you are in your own boy season, your searching season, your hyper building season, your incomplete season, you are not lost. You are becoming. And maybe someone in your life is watching you right now, quietly, steadily, believing in a version of you that you haven't fully embodied yet. That matters. More than downloads, more than applause, more than momentum. Witness matters. Before the book, there was a boy, and the boy finally stopped trying to prove his worth long enough to become the man who no longer has to. This is the vibrational stage, and we are just getting started.